Good morning, everyone. It's 9:01, so we'll get started. Welcome to the June 26th Board of Police Commissioners meeting. We acknowledge that we are on traditional lands of Treaty 4 territory, a treaty signed with 35 First Nations across Saskatchewan, southern Saskatchewan, and parts of Alberta and Manitoba, and the original lands of Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, and the homeland of Métis Nation. The city of Regina owes its strength and vibrancy to these lands and the diverse Indigenous people whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory, as well as settlers from around the world who continue to be welcomed here and call Regina home. All right, well, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the public agenda. Can I have the motion to approve the agenda, please? Thanks, Councillor. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, hearing none, carried. Approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting held on May 27, 2025? First of all, any errors or omissions that anybody noticed? Okay, I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, carried. All right, well, the first two items that we are combining today is PO 25-15, that Mobius Benefit Administrator Pension Plan 2024 Annual Report, and PO 25-16, Mobius Benefits Administrator, the Target Retirement Income Plan. So can I please have the delegates come forward and present the report? Jenny, maybe you want to introduce, both of you want to introduce yourself for the rest of the people.
I turned it off. Perfect. It's better? Okay. Apologies. So I'm Janie Markowicz. I'm Director of Corporate Services with Mobius Benefit Administrators. We administer the police pension plan as well as the Target Retirement Income Plan and some other plans. This is Colin Lohenberger. He's the President and CEO of Mobius, and we're here to in this session, present the annual report for the Regina Police pension plan as well as the Target Retirement Income Plan. So I will get started and hopefully speak into the mic the whole time. Okay, so starting with the police pension plan. So this plan, just some background, provides eligible members with retirement income for service up to June 30th, 2014. This is based on a formula that considers both the member's earnings and the length of service in the plan. I'm trying to scroll here. So this plan was frozen, just a bit of background, frozen or closed to new entrants on June 30th, 2014, and the Regina Board of Police Commissioners agreed to fund the existing deficit and any future that may arise. Then the next day, July 14th, 2014, was the beginning of the Target Retirement Income Plan that came into effect, and that provides pension and benefit services for members on or after that date. So the annual report for the police pension plan was received and approved by the Plan's Admin Board on May 29th, 2025. And this report is also provided to this commission annually. So just a few highlights, and then I'll stop, pause, and ask for questions. So during 2024, the Administrative Board initiated the development of a strategic plan, which will focus on the following three main areas: enhancement of member engagement and education to ensure members have a comprehensive understanding of the benefits available to them. Also, plan sustainability through continuously enhancing investment and funding strategies to balance the risks and returns and ensure the financial health of this plan, as well as continued focus on governance. On page 4, the financial highlights are included in the annual report. I'll just highlight those. So the net assets available for benefits at the end of 2024 were $311.8 million, and pension obligations were $372.4 million. The funding ratio is 83.7, so this is similar to 2023. And just for clarification, this ratio is based on the financial statement numbers, the assets and liabilities included in the financial statements. So the liabilities are estimated by the actuaries, but this is for accounting purposes. It does not reflect the smoothing methodologies that are used for the actuarial valuation, which is then considered for the contributions. Just Just wanted to make sure I clarified that. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the inflows and outflows for the plan. So total contributions were 4.9 million. Investment gains were 18.7 million. And then the outflows include pension benefits and refunds of 20.6 million and operating expenses of 1.5 million. The overall fund return for 2024 was 6.6%. Membership profile is included on page 5 of the annual report. Total members were 932 at the end of 2024. Average monthly pension was $2,798 per month, and average pensionable earnings $144,227. The plan design is outlined in the annual report on page 6, and the audited financial statements are also included in this annual report. There were no audit issues to report. The auditors did attend, or they issued an unqualified opinion, and they did attend the administrative plan meeting in May to present their findings to the admin board. And there were no significant changes to the financial statements for 2024. I'm going to stop there. Those are the remarks that I had prepared, but are there any questions before we move on?
Does anybody on the board has any questions? Okay, continue, please.
Okay. Okay, so moving on to the target retirement income plan, the TRIP plan. So the target retirement income plan provides eligible members with retirement income for the service, as I mentioned, on or after July 1st, 2014. Now this plan is a target benefit plan, which is a hybrid between a defined benefit plan and a defined contribution plan. Like a defined benefit plan, benefits are based on a formula that takes into account the member's earnings, length of service, and similar to the police pension plan, it is financed by the commission, but this plan also is financed by member contributions, and as well as investment earnings. So like the defined contribution plan, though, the actual benefits are dependent on plan experience over time, and for this plan, this is measured through the affordability ratio. So the admin board approved the 2024 annual report, again on the May 29th board meeting, and this annual report was also received last week by the Plan Partners Committee. Okay, so 2024 highlights for this plan. TRIP reached a significant milestone in 2024, celebrating its 10th anniversary. The focus for 2024 was on enhancing benefits, ensuring security of member pensions, and making strategic changes to benefit thresholds. And this admin board is also currently in the process of developing a strategic plan focusing on plan sustainability and growth, member and education and engagement. Page 4 has the financial highlights for this plan. Net assets were $162.7 million, obligations $129.5 million, and the surplus of $33.2 million. You'll see the funding status of 126%. And again, this is based on the actuarial, like an estimate or accounting, for accounting purposes. For this plan, we had contributions in of $13.9 million, investment gains of $15.4 million, benefits and refunds are $1.9 million, and operating expenses of $1.3 million. In this plan, there was returns of 11% for 2024. Member highlights are included on page 5. For a snapshot there, the total members are 814 in this plan. The active to retired ratio is 6.3 to 1. It's a very young plan. Average pensionable earnings, $125,418, and the average monthly lifetime pension is $859. And years of service is 7.8. This plan also has an affordability ratio, as I mentioned, and that's on page 12 of the annual report. At the end of 2024, it was 120.8%. This lands in the benefit sustainability zone. And this affordability test is carried out according to actuarial standards and measures the sustainability of the plan. Again, the audited financial statements are included in the annual report, and similar to the police pension plan, there were no audit issues to report. The auditors issued an unqualified opinion, and they did attend in May and also presented the findings to the admin board on this plan. Those are my prepared remarks, but if there's any questions.
All right. Any questions on the report?
No.
Well, thank you very much for that, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to receive and file both of the annual reports, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next report is PO 25-17, Contact Interview Annual Report 2024. Acting Chief Davis, could you please introduce the report?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So back in 2018, the Saskatchewan Police Commission required all police services to adopt a contact interview policy. Contact interviews are sometimes referred to as street checks, or in Eastern Canada had been tied into carding. So back then, especially in Eastern Canada, carding was there were concerns about it in terms of racial profiling and over-policing in diverse communities. And so our police commission wanted to ensure that we had a fulsome policy. So a contact interview is essentially stopping to talk to someone to gather information not related to a specific investigation. It's completely voluntary. For instance, if a police officer were to see someone walking around at 2 in the morning in the industrial area, they might stop to see what they are up to. And so the Regina Police Service must ensure that those contacts with residents is done in a way that is respect for the law and ensuring fundamental charter rights. And so we have a fulsome policy in place, and part of that reporting includes annually reporting our contact interview numbers to the Saskatchewan Police Commission and to the board and the public. And so I'm happy to have Inspector Sean Fenwick here today to talk about the 2024 contact interview numbers.
Thank you, Deputy. Mayor Bashinsky and members of the board, thanks for having me today. As Deputy Davies stated, in 2018, the Saskatchewan Police Commission provided RPS with an updated provincial policy related to contact interviews. In 2019, the internal contact interview policy for RPS was also updated and aligned with the Police Commission. Part of the change to the provincial policy stated that police services will maintain stats and record the number and the reason for contact interviews conducted by members, and will report those stats to the Sask Police Commission annually. Since that time, RPS has provided the annual report. So in 2024, the Regina Police Service documented 193 interviews in our Integrated Electronic Information System, otherwise known as EYES, compared to just 2 in 2023. In 2024, 192 persons spoke to our members, and 1 individual declined and chose not to speak with our members. So I'll go into a little bit of a definition to help you out with this. The definition of a contact interview as defined by the Sask Police Commission and our policy manual is, it is contact with the public initiated by a member of the Regina Police Service with the intention of gathering information not related to a specific known incident or offense. The information being sought must be more than general information common to the community. Further clarification, a contact interview does not include normal social interaction or general conversation with the public where a member has no cause for concern in regard to the purpose, behavior, or demeanor or welfare of the person they're speaking to. Contact initiated by a member working in an undercover capacity does not constitute a contact interview, as well as visual observations made by a member where no actual contact is made. That's also not a contact interview. And then there's circumstances where investigative detention is authorized by law. That's not a contact interview. And of course, contact initiated pursuant to specific statutory authority, such as the Traffic Safety Act. That is also not a contact interview. So in accordance with policy, police officers are required to document in detail the reasons for initiating a contact interview in their notebook and entering it into our database, otherwise known as EYES. All contact interview reports are retained for 5 years before they're purged from our system. So further definition from the Police Commission identified 3 circumstances for police to categorize a contact interview. So when we initiate one, it has to fall into one of these 3 categories. There is no apparent reason for the subject's presence in a particular area, such as being present in a commercial area or industrial area late at night when everything else is closed. The subject's actions, behavior, or demeanor raise concern as to his or her purpose for his or her safety. And then the third one is the subject appears to be lost, confused, frightened, or in need of assistance. So part of our training is we really push the fact that these are voluntary interactions. Contact interviews are voluntary between the public and the police. Citizens have no obligation to answer questions or provide identification during contact interviews and are free to leave at any time. They're not the subject to detention or arrest, and they are not chargeable for declining to answer questions or departing the location. The decision whether to stop and engage in a conversation must be made by the person freely on a voluntary basis. Should the person choose not to engage in conversation and continue walking away, members may not stop or impede their movement. Communication with the public must be informal, professional, fair, impartial, free of any element of physical or psychological intimidation, responsive to public concerns, and of the nature which inspires public trust and confidence. So part of our ongoing training, we do refer to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Section 7, right to life, liberty, security of the person, Section 8, freedom from unreasonable search and seizure, as well as Section 9, freedom of arbitrary detention and imprisonment. So there is a significant difference in the reported contact interviews from 23 to 24. I'm sure there's probably some questions about that, so I'll try and answer that before I get asked. So in my opinion, up until 2024, contact interviews were happening, and it's part of good policing initiatives, good police engagement. I think we were underreporting for a few reasons. The contact interview concept and subsequent training as a result of the 2018 Police Commission recommendations. It was just prior to COVID, and during COVID, police had less contact with people for a few different reasons. There were less people out and about, and we also had to adhere by the best health practices at the time of COVID. Then we had I think a big turnover in our front line due to people retiring, normal attrition, as well as some significant growth we saw for a few years right after COVID. So we realized last year that these numbers are probably lower than what's actually happening. So we did a reset, and in the fall of 2023, I was tasked with the reset and doing some new training. So in the spring of 2024, with our annual block training that we do every year, every sworn member at the Regina Police Service was retrained in contact interviews, and we talked about the public trust and confidence and those criteria that the Police Commission set out for conducting contact interviews. So I think as a result of that, you saw more of a true reflection of what was happening and the proper reporting from our members in 2024. I did pull 5 different examples, which I vetted from 2024. I vetted some names, any identifying information in that report, as well as the dates. So if you're interested, I can provide some examples of what a contact interview would look like and what's reported. You guys want me to go ahead with that? Yeah. So at 1:15 hours, these are notes kind of verbatim from the report itself, okay? So at 1:15 hours, noticed a male digging through dumpsters at the Kinsman Arena. Very friendly, was looking for useful items, not making a mess. He identified himself. End of report. 06:17 hours, a male was in the EMS blocked off compound where construction was being completed. Stopped him because he had no reason for being in the area. He identified himself and he moved along. 1500 hours. Young female appeared to be setting up a camp. She was talking to herself. Our officer spoke to the female. She was abrasive, didn't want to identify herself. She appeared sober, left without issue. No concerns for her well-being. She was not identified. 22:35 hours. Attended the Regina Pats building at the intersection of Elbert and Dudney. Spoke with a female who was not very cooperative. She was sitting at the front door of the building with drug paraphernalia around her, but no drugs. The female was not intoxicated, no need of assistance. She said she was going to charge her phone and move along. Police saw a female. This is a different one. 16:07 hours. Police saw a female, thought she was passed out. Contact was initiated. She was believed to be sober. She was going to move along. No need for further police assistance. She was also identified. That's 5. Just kind of a really broad example of what it would look like and why we stopped to talk to somebody. So that's my report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So I have one. Thank you for the report, Sean. So you mentioned Saskatchewan Police Commission. So
Yeah.
does this annual report is filed with SPC as well?
Correct.
And how far they go into detail? Is it just the numbers, like how many, like the way you broken it down, or do they go into detail?
Very straightforward. We report the numbers. We also categorize them. So of those interviews, in this case, 193, they were also broken into which one of those 3 criteria did they fit. And we also identify the number of people who chose not to talk to us, which is what we reported as well. So the only extra detail is which criteria did they fit into.
Right. And have you seen any variation from year over year in these numbers, the CI numbers?
I would say up till last year, they were significantly lower and prompted our reset with the training. And I can tell you this year, we are on pace to probably have higher numbers than 2024.
Right. And a couple of other things, just for the clarification of other people. So this is the patrol that usually have an encounter with.
Typically, it doesn't have to be
Right.
patrol. It could be any police officer. But I would say the majority of the contact interviews are completed by our patrol members.
Yeah, what I meant by is that you're not initiating a special police convoy for this, right? Nobody is just calling you guys, and this is just a volunteer thing.
Correct. These would be calls initiated by ourselves.
Right.
If it was initiated by the public, that would be a separate call for service, and we'd have probably more authority to respond.
Right.
But these are mostly generated by the police, yes.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. Does anybody else has any questions? Okay, well, hearing none, seeing none. Okay, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
report. I'll call the question. Can we have a motion to receive and file this report, please? Thank you. Robert, is anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. The next one is PO 25-18, Regina Police Service Strategic Plan and Recruitment Annual Reports 2024. Acting Chief Davis, could you please introduce the report?
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So as you know, we have a strategic plan 23 to 26. Every year we provide an update on the previous year's alignment to our strategic plan. So Ms. Karen Williams, our analysis unit supervisor, will provide the update in terms of the 2024 update to the plan. And Ms. Alyssa Sullivan will provide a update on our recruiting. So we have our large strategic plan, and then underneath it we have a recruiting plan that ties into it, and so Alyssa will provide the recruiting update for the strategic plan for 24 as well.
Good morning. So today I just wanted to start off with a brief introduction of our strategic plan, reflect on some of the progress made in 2024, and then I'll turn it over to Alyssa to talk about the recruitment report. So our 2023 to 26 strategic plan was built through extensive consultation with the public, our community partners, employees, both sworn and civilian, and the Board of Police. Collaborative input helped shape a plan grounded in local priorities that recognizes the complex and evolving nature of public safety in Regina and emphasizes the importance of partnership, innovation, wellness, and accountability. At the heart of our plan are 2 key strategic objectives: our community, to be a trusted and committed partner in community safety and well-being, and our service, to make continuous improvements to processes and resources to ensure the well-being of our membership while delivering excellent service to the public. Part of the plan was also a redesign of how we report to the board and to the public, which is the reports you have in front of you today. There's a lot for the Regina Police Service to be proud of this past year. The 2024 annual report captures a wide range of initiatives. Some are big, some are smaller, but all contributing in meaningful ways. I'm just going to walk you through a few highlights from the report. So looking at some community safety initiatives, we launched the All-Out Progressive Policing Initiative, which increased officer visibility and proactive enforcement in several neighborhoods. Our Alternative Response Officer program began in 2024. These members focused on engagement and support in areas like downtown and North Central, helping us connect more people to services and being a visible presence in these areas. We continue to prioritize inclusion and accessibility through initiatives like the communication card that was developed for individuals with language or hearing barriers, and also expanded newcomer presentations. We worked on trust building with partners through TRIP events like Coffee with a Cop and events like Red Dress Day and the Round Dance. These reflect our ongoing efforts to build trust and connection with the communities we serve. On the internal side, we made meaningful strides in health and wellness with the opening of a new fitness facility, enhancing training for officers and civilians, and mental health education. We also continued investing in leadership development and organizational culture through initiatives like Project Prime and our employee-led ambassador program. So these are just a few highlights of the full 2024 report. It gives a detailed look at lots of initiatives, progress, and performance within the document. And it's available as part of our board package if anyone wants to take a look. That's what I have for today. I'll toss you over to Alyssa for the recruitment portion.
Thank you and good morning. So our recruitment strategy, as indicated, is a direct extension of the R service pillar within the Regina Police Service's overarching strategic plan. The annual report before you provides a comprehensive update on our external recruitment efforts, specifically covering recruitment initiatives, communications and marketing, community programs, community partnerships, and community events. We implemented this strategic approach to ensure more efficient, data-driven decision-making in our recruitment processes. This allows us to identify what truly yields results, moving beyond speculative efforts, and contributes directly to greater success in building our workforce. However, we also recognize the long-term value of relationship building. Many of our engagements are akin to planting seeds. While not all interactions yield immediate hires or program referrals, the foundational connections we make today can lead to successful recruitment outcomes years down the line, which is a win for our organization. A key strategic priority remains enhancing the diversity of our hires to better reflect the community in which we serve. We are pleased to report that our diversity hiring rates for both sworn and civilian roles closely mirror our diversity applicant pools. So for sworn members, 54% of our applicants identified as diversity applicants, and 51% of those hired were diversity candidates. On the civilian side, 46% of applicants were diversity candidates, with 45% of hires reflecting this diversity. The Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission, which sets employment equity goals based on the demographics of the community in which we live, updated its targets in 2024. For Regina, these revised goals indicate an increased focus across all 4 designated groups. So for female employees, this increased from 47% to 47.5%. Indigenous employees increased from 14% to 15.2%. Employees with disabilities increased from 22.2% to 27.7%. And visible minority employees increased from 16.8% to 21.5%. Reviewing our overall diversity statistics based on employee self-declaration, we observe slight increases in the representation of female employees and visible minority employees. Conversely, we have seen a slight decrease in Indigenous employees and employees with disabilities. In terms of female employees, organizationally, 40% of our employees identify as female. However, in relation to the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission statistics that we report, our percentage in terms of females relates to underrepresented occupations. So this would be sworn members or police officers. In 2024, that percentage was 25.5%. And it's important to note that while the number of female sworn staff has consistently increased year over year, so there was 108 female police officers in 22, 112 in 23, and 120 in 24, this growth is not always immediately reflected as a percentage increase due to the overall expansion of the service. Looking ahead to attrition, 2024 saw 15 sworn members and 12 civilian members retire or resign. And for 2025, we anticipate significant potential attrition, with 20 sworn members eligible to retire and 11 civilian members. Therefore, proactive and continuous recruitment remains a top priority to ensure that we effectively manage anticipated vacancies and maintain operational capacity. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. Does the board have any questions, comments, feedback? Okay. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I was just looking, I don't know if it's a typo or not, but there's a line in about the net percentage of city budget that has year over year 18.6 and 18.5, and then there's earlier on, and then on page 26, there's the same numbers. Community perception survey percent agree that RPS demonstrates professionalism in their work, has the exact same numbers. I don't know if those seem right based on the rest of the information, so I just thought I'd point it out if maybe we could check if that's coincidental that those are exactly the same, or if maybe there was a copy paste thing.
We'll flag that and take a look. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Go ahead.
I would just like to comment, I'm also on the board of Sikh Society, and it was great to see RPS represent at the parade last month, and having the people from recruitment there showing kids what it is to be a police officer, showing the kid, etc. I'm pretty sure you'll see a lot more hires from the community in the future. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. Can I have a motion to receive and file the report, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Seeing none, hearing none, carried. Thank you again. All right, the next one we have is PO 25-19 Monthly Crime Statistics, May 2025. Acting Chief Davis, could you please introduce the report?
You bet, absolutely. So I would say that May 2025 is a good news month when it comes to crime statistics. We showed a year-to-date decrease of 15.4% crimes against the person, which is 221 fewer incidents. And our crimes against property saw a decrease of 15%, which is 632 fewer incidents. Overall, that's a total decrease in crimes against property and people of 15.1%. I would say all major categories are trending downward with the exception of arson. The good news on that front is that year-to-date our increase was 4%, which is the first time we've had single-digit increases this year. You know, I think in January we started with a 100% increase, February was 73, and so we've made some good strides on that front, and certainly want to highlight the collaborative committee that's in place with Regina Police Service, City of Regina, and Regina Fire and Protective Services. That committee has met once already and are taking a look at ways that we can dig deeper to address that issue. So good news on that front for sure. I would also highlight that our ticket numbers were up 13.2%. Our warnings were up quite a bit as well. And so traffic enforcement is always something that comes to the forefront in spring and summer, so I'm happy to say that we're making some good strides in that area. Just a couple of files I'd like to highlight for you. Back on May 2nd, after a month of investigation, a search warrant was executed and resulting in the arrest of 2 males for a break and enter, and that was the instance where there was $30,000 worth of trading cards and memorabilia that were stolen, so we're happy to report that people were charged in that instance and property recovered. And then on May 25th, one of our members was out on patrol. He noticed that he was following behind a vehicle. It appeared to be smoking. He pulled it over, got him behind the vehicle, and in fact, the truck became fully engulfed in flames. He was able to get the driver out, and thankfully, there weren't any injuries. Shortly after, that truck did explode, and so it was good proactive policing that resulted in a good outcome in that instance for sure. In relation to overdoses, in May we responded to 24 overdoses, 6 of which were fatal, and this isn't relation to May, but in June we did work with the Department of Health and issued a drug alert. In June we had a number of overdoses within a short period of time, and so Sask Health issued a drug alert warning on June 14th. just letting people know that we had had a high number of overdoses and fatalities, and that hopefully people could just make sort of safer choices in terms of having someone with them or making sure that they had access to naloxone. So that we don't like to see that, but we were happy to partner with health to ensure that that message got out to the community. And the Complex Needs Emergency Shelter in May, we had 147 transports there, which in the 10 months that they have been open, that's 18% of the total numbers we've transported there. So I think the presence of our AROs and downtown safety team are having a really good impact there, ensuring that people get access to the help that they need and hopefully a way off of sort of that treadmill. And I just want to highlight one other thing since we are talking about end of school. We have officers in our Cultural and Community Diversity Unit that operate a Community Cadet Corps. And so they run that program out of Thompson, Mother Teresa Middle School, and St. Michael. And I'm just going to read you a snippet. Grade 8, who is graduating from one of those schools, gave a little bit of a valedictorian speech. And he includes in here, lastly, I'd like to give my gratitude and thanks to the school's cadet program. If you don't know, our school has an after-school cadet program, and I signed up for it back in sixth grade, and I'm still in the program today. This program has single-handedly helped me break out of my anxiety and non-confidence that I had for a very long time. I also want to give a special thanks to Officer Frank Kovacs, our cadet instructor, who has helped me push through my anxiety and has allowed me to share my voice in a non-judgmental environment. So I just thought it was fitting to share that with everyone, just to talk about that community outreach that takes place in our schools on a daily basis, and just a really good way to sum up our reporting for May. And that's really all I wanted to bring forward in terms of the crime stats.
Thank you, Acting Chief Davis. This is commendable work. I am really pleased to see the numbers are finally getting to where we are comfortable in seeing that. As I always say, we're never going to see zeros there, unfortunately. That is the reality. However, I think all the good work that RPS and its team deserves a kudos. So on behalf of the board, I can say that because I've seen those numbers in the other category as well. So this is good and positive. Thank you very much. So I will open up for the board if they have any questions. All right. Can I have a motion to receive and file the report, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, hearing none, carried. Can I have a resolution for the private session, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. We'll recess for 20 minutes for the media scrum. Thank you.